When I was a kid, my one true love was video games. I would sit down and play for hours on end just to pass the time. Very quickly, I fell into the world of competitive gaming, with one of the first games I remember playing sort of competitively being Mortal Kombat X. I was like 12 or something, so I would just basically spam the same move over and over until the guy hopefully died. And I wasn't like super into it or nothing, but I did dump a bunch of hours. This feeling of taking someone down who had way more wins than me was a feeling like no other. I learned new combos as I got older, but quickly discarded it for something new. This was only the beginning of my descent into degeneracy, and was mostly innocent. My first true addiction was Overwatch. I had dumped hours upon hours into this game, learning strategies and improving my aim just to one day reach platinum. Every update to the game I was right on top of. Every buff, nerf, map change, I was so thirsty for this game. At school, I would just think about sinking all of my hours into Overwatch. And I did, until my grandma would come into my room for the third time and beg me to stop. I really enjoyed this idea of queuing up with a bunch of random teammates and making the best out of the people given to us. Sometimes you would partner up with a group of people for the night and you guys would end up having the time of your lives, cracking jokes and destroying enemy teams to never even talk to each other again. But eventually, these things stopped mattering to me and I set my mind on the goal of getting to platinum. By the end of 700 hours, I finally made it, but my love for the game was beginning to fall apart. The game had changed so much from what it once was. The meta was becoming this boring, sit behind two shields and just shoot from long range until one of us had our shields break down. Also, this grind for competitive points just took out most of the fun parts of the game for me. I always enjoyed switching up my heroes often and trying out new strategies that were unconventional, but to get to platinum, I just hard-made Mercy until I eventually crawled my way into platinum, not even learning how to play DPS really ever. Eventually, I got burnt out of this game. Plus, a new game had been catching my interest. It was my new obsession, Fortnite. Fortnite was one of the worst things in my life. My obsession with Fortnite was a tumor attached to my brain. I would wake up thinking about getting on the game, go to school talking amongst my friends about the new updates coming out instead of paying attention in class. When I first played Fortnite was way back in Season 2 of Chapter 1. That was December 14th, 2017, and for 2 years straight until they released Chapter 2, Fortnite was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I would probably average 8 hours on Fortnite every day. Why do homework? Why socialize? I could just get better at this random ass building game and I'm sure I'll do just fine in life. I would wait up until 6 AM just so that Fortnite would release stink bombs and I would be the first ones to use it. Oh, when a new season dropped, I knew every last thing within the first couple of hours. I would grind all the missions immediately and get my battle pass to the very end just to have that skin that showed me of this accomplishment. I was using this system to give my life meaning at the time. Completing the battle pass gave me purpose, no matter how stupid that sounds. I would play the same game day in and day out, just for a chance for being number one in this huge lobby of people. There was so much I could have focused on in my actual life, but I was too scared to face what I had already done to myself. I was rapidly falling behind in school, neglecting my own hygiene, and I decided that the only thing I cared about was being number one in a video game. It made me feel as if I was actually accomplishing something, but really what it made me accomplish was another day decaying, another day avoiding all my responsibilities, another day doing literally nothing with my life. And I was okay with that because I reached number one in a video game. It's pathetic. Slowly, I stopped even getting better at the game. I would just stare at the screen and hope that I win. Not trying to strategize, no training, just sit down, lose, load up again, lose, load up, lose. It was that until it was time to sleep, becoming an actual robot for Fortnite. And after this, it only got worse. I stopped caring about even improving in the video game that I was playing. And in real life, COVID was about to hit. And with COVID came my newest, worst addiction, League of Legends. 2020 was a terrible year for a lot of us. I was held up in my house, and if I wasn't paying attention in class before, then I really wasn't now. I would just sleep through my classes, and slowly I started going literally insane as I lost motivation to even get out of my bed. I needed a way to pass time that wasn't just staring at my wall, so I had to figure it out. So I took out my junk-ass laptop onto my bed, where I now spend all of my day unless I had to like take a shit, and I booted up League of Legends. The perfect way to waste hours at a time. I didn't even care about actually strategizing. That would take too much of my brain. I would just throw myself into the enemy champion over and over and hope they just feed to me. People would light me up in the chat just, how do you not know that you need to have the jungle warded at 2:30? That's when the jungle ends their camp and they're most likely going to gank you and you need to... Mute. And I would just keep clicking and clicking, using websites to tell me how to build my characters without even reading what items do. At this point, it wasn't even just wasting my life playing video games. I feel like you can really build an amazing hobby out of playing video games. I'm of the opinion that video games in their own way are art. I really enjoy seeing smaller creators showing their creativity and their intricate stories through gameplay. Immersing yourself into a new world and coming up with solutions to a game's challenges are rewarding and genuinely good for you sometimes, I believe. Even these competitive games have so much to them, you know? Learning strategy, knowing when to take cover, when to go in for the fight, what items work well together, what times are best to strike, improving your accuracy, even cooperation amongst your teammates. But this isn't why I was here. I was here because I was depressed. I didn't give a single shit for strategy. I was just watching time pass at this point. Not only now was I accomplishing nothing in real life, but I even gave up on working on my skill for the game. I would load up the game just so that there would be something happening in front of my eyes, waiting for life to change, waiting for the day I wake up and just understand what I need to be doing. But there will never be a day like that. If you want or need change, you need to be the one to implement that. I was waiting for change, but I was scared of it at the same time. Change will feel terrifying to you, but the best way to overcome this fear is to control the change. Don't just let it come to you. Be the reason things are changing in your life. Take that new opportunity. Ask out the girl you've liked for years. Do something risky for once. At first, you will be so nervous, and you will fail sometimes. But failing is just another word for growing. You will come out of those experiences stronger, and sometimes you will go for that radical change that will improve your life and you will get exactly what you want. You cannot just wait for life to change. Life will change, but if you just let it change without at least giving your best effort to make it a change that you are passionate about, if you choose to ignore what you know needs to be done, then you will always be a victim to the world instead of taking control and becoming your own. Competitive games put me into a loop of nothingness. I only was able to overcome this by putting down the game and asking myself, what do I need to change in my life? And then I needed to start taking the steps. It was very overwhelming at first. It was a long journey. I felt like I was already so far behind. I didn't even know what I cared about anymore. One step at a time though, I learned myself. And I grew out of this phase of my life where my self-worth came from video games. I learned just how important change is to life. I can't keep trying to do the same thing forever. I need to expand my knowledge and change the pace as often as I can. Or else I can turn into a robot doing the same thing day in and day out. And eventually, one day, I would pass feeling nothing and contributing nothing. So, I finally let go of my elo and grew as a person. And I cannot be happier. I'm sure there are a lot of other reasons why others would quit competitive games. No one person can be the same, and I'm definitely a little weird, but maybe there's someone out there like me who this touches, and that's all I can hope for. But for now, I hope you guys have a good night, or day, or whatever.